So this is the Maya, the latest release from the brand Lamzu, and once again, they have made an absolutely solid mouse. The mouse does feature a 3395 sensor from Pixart and a 52840 Nordic MCU, which does allow you to go up to 4000Hz with the additional purchase of the 4K dongle. The weight of the mouse is 45 grams, and the switches in this mouse are the Huano blue shell pink dots that were modified a bit to Lamzu's requests. Like all of the previous Lamzu mice, the quality has been top notch and the Maya is no exception. No side flex or creaking on the sides of the mouse, even when I am pushing pretty hard on it, and of course no flexing on the top of the mouse either. Bottom of the mouse will have some flex to it, but I don't expect anyone to really be pushing on the plastic on the bottom at all. The main clicks do have some wobble to them or some side to side play to them, but it was never something I felt while using the mouse. The main switches are mechanical now instead of using opticals just like in the Lamzu Foreign, but they do actually feel really good. There is some post and pre-travel, especially when you are pressing on the front of the triggers, but I don't expect anyone to really be clicking on the front of the clicks and just be focusing more on the middle of the trigger. The implementation is also really good. The switches do have a pretty nice light weight to them, and they also feel very crispy and snappy. The scroll wheel is decent. It does have a pretty light scroll, but each step is still very noticeable. Only issue with the scroll wheel is the implementation of the rubber ring. In some places it does have a very squishy feel to it, while in other places it just feels like a normal solid scroll wheel. Side buttons are also good on this mouse, virtually no post or pre-travel, and have a very nice feeling to them, and they are pretty light and spammable. The stock skates that come on the mouse are also pretty good. Don't really see any need to replace them with third-party ones. They felt very consistent on both glass pads and cloth pads. The coating on this mouse is top tier as well, and yes, it does have a true coating on it and not just some textured plastic feeling to it like some other mice that have been released. Has a very nice rubbery feeling that doesn't really pick up sweat and dirt, just like the coatings on the Zowie or Vaxi mice. The coating is super grippy and I never had any issues with it, and I really don't see the need for third-party grips as the coating is very good. Now onto the most important part of the mouse and why you're even interested in this mouse in the first place, and that would be the actual shape of the mouse. On first glance you might say this is just a mini Superlight. Well, yes and no. First, comparing these two on Elo shapes, you can see the size difference, and you might even say that the hump on both mice are actually pretty close, while in hand it's a completely different story. When using my default grip on both these mice, which is a claw grip, I can immediately feel the hump on the Superlight poking into the top of my palm, while on the Lamzu Maya, you don't really feel it at all. Overall, using a claw grip with the Maya isn't really the best experience, at least for me. While it was doable, I wasn't really performing at my best. For strictly fingertip, this mouse was pretty much perfect, just because of a couple key things. First of all, the hump is pretty low, so it never got in the way. And second of all, unlike the Superlight, the left and right sides of the mouse are identical, so you do get those nice tapers for your fingers to grip onto. I do have 16.5 by 9 centimeter hands, and claw grip wasn't the best just because of the lack of hump. While the mouse does have a hump, it's pretty low to the ground, unlike the Superlight. With the Superlight, I could comfortably bring the hump into my palm, whereas on the Maya, the mouse is just too short and so low to the ground, I could really never find a comfortable grip while using claw grip. Compared to other smaller mice like this mouse from Ajaz, you can see right away how low and minimal the hump is on the Maya, making it not the best pick for claw grip, especially if you have smaller hands. The software pretty much looks and functions just like most of the other drivers that we have seen. In the main tab, you do have the option to change the button keybinds as well as the debounce time for the main switches. I have had this set as 0 ms and ran into no double clicking issues at all. In the second tab, you have all the more important options such as setting your DPI, your polling rate, as well as setting your LOD and sleep timer. You also have the option to set up macros if you are someone that likes to do that. And then finally, you do have the settings tab, which lets you to update the firmware of the mouse and the dongle straight from the program. And you also have the pairing tool baked right into the software, which is very convenient, especially if you did pick up the 4K dongle that Lamzu sells. So by default, the mouse does come with a 1000Hz polling rate dongle, but most of my testing has been done with the 4000Hz dongle that Lamzu does sell separately on their website. On 4K, the mouse felt buttery smooth, and I really had no issues in games of stuttering or any major FPS drops. The performance on the clicks have been solid as well for being mechanical switches. These are the Huano blue shell pink dot switches, but they have been tuned by Lamzu's request. They do claim no double clicking and a better click feeling, and I can claim both of those are very true. I have the debounce setting set to 0 ms and haven't ran into any double clicking issues even when spamming them. So who exactly is this mouse for? Well, if you are someone that wants a fingertip mouse but doesn't want to pick up something like a HSK from G-Walls, you just want a mouse that feels and looks like a complete mouse, then this is the mouse for you. Or if you're someone that is bored with their Superlight and just wants something lighter and a bit smaller, then this mouse will also be for you. Mouse is rock solid, it does have the latest specs, and performance in game is really solid as well, and for the price you really can't beat it. Really nothing I can complain about as well. Once again, Lamzu has made a mouse that can easily be in my top 3.